Welcome to Cover Book Beat. I'm your host, Roger Nichols. Today we have a special guest. Madelyn Simon has one of the most unusual paths to authorhood we've seen in interviewing over 850 authors. She parlayed a natural love of plants and animals into a thriving company, Madelyn Simon and Associates Incorporated. They designed, installed, and maintain live plants for up to 700 corporate clients. And they designed and maintained the Butterfly Vivarium permanent exhibit at the Museum of Natural History in New York City. Now, following retirement in 2006, she took up both oil and watercolor painting and writing, and that has worked out well for her, as she created the award-winning Poppy the Toucan series of children's books. She's here today to talk about book number 7 in the series, Poppy's Sweet Sibling Story. We're very pleased to welcome Madelyn Simon.
Thank you so much for having me. I so appreciate it.
Yeah, before we get into the latest book, I want to find a little more background about you as a person. Were you always going to be a writer when you were a kid?
No, not at all. But I've always been a creative kid. So I'm not surprised. I did tell my daughter stories before she went to bed. And those stories had the same characters, but what I did is I incorporated things that were happening in her life into the stories, that like wisdom kind of things. And it was a lot of fun. So it was during the COVID crisis that I thought, write stories.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do have to ask this, when you retired, did somebody else take over the company and maintain the plants?
Yes, I sold the company.
Oh, good. I was worried about the plants. I want to make sure they were well taken care of.
And I sold it to a company that I knew from 1978, a wonderful human being. And I knew that he was going to take care of the clients as well as the employees. And all the employees have stayed, which is like a family. It's lovely.
Yeah, and that's a really good indicator, isn't it, of a well-run business?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay, and then I have one more about that. Did you have a favorite plant that you tried to put in all the businesses, one that you really enjoyed?
Oh, I love them all, but I love them all in the locations that was required.
Yeah.
Each plant needs a different environment and provides a whole different look. Mm-hmm. So there was not a favorite, although lots of designers went crazy to do short snake plants in wide pots. Why, I don't know, but that's what they loved. It had a look, and it was very easy to maintain. But I love them all. I didn't love plants that had thorns or spikes, because that was a kind of a dangerous thing to position, because people could hurt themselves not knowing that. So I was anti-thorns.
Good for you.
And anti-cacti.
Good for you, indeed. Was there an incident or a series of incidents that you said, I'm going to take these stories that I've been telling and turn them into books? Anything in particular that triggered that?
Oh, all of them were triggered by a story. So for the last story, it's Poppy's Sweet Sibling Story. Mm-hmm. I was visiting a girlfriend down the block, and she had one granddaughter sitting at the piano playing like Mozart, and the younger granddaughter was sitting next to me, and I asked if she played the piano. She really was horrified and embarrassed. She said, no, I wouldn't be as good as my sister. Mm-hmm. I said, but did you ever try? She said, no, I would not have tried. So that really inspired this story, that people are frightened to do things and they don't try. There are so many people say, I can't draw, I can't this, I can't write. And that is not based on experience. It's based on fear. And to me, that makes no sense. You try it, and sometimes you get better at it. Certainly you get more experienced, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, working these life lessons into the book without stopping and doing a big lecture, that's a skill that you've got. I think that's kind of interesting to see how you play that in there.
Yeah, I think it gets inspired. The stories get inspired by life. The last story that has not been published yet is about anti-tribalism. This world has become so tribalist.
No.
So that story is about that. Um, and there was a story about competition. The Olympics were happening.
Mhm.
Um, Poppy's sweet wiggly wobbly wings that she couldn't fly as fast as other toucans, but she could dance like crazy. So she asked for there to be a dance a contest so that she
Mhm.
could win.
There you go. There you go. I have to ask, was the inspiration for a toucan anything to do with a certain cereal mascot that first appeared back in 1963?
Not at all. What happened was I was painting watercolors and I switched to oil and I needed to paint figures. I didn't paint figures with watercolor. So when I was painting figures, I saw, I don't know, a photograph of a toucan. I thought it was so beautiful. And I painted toucans on this canvas. But I realized that that composition didn't work. I had to have them connected by a string, and the string could wobble and wiggle, and the string was laden down by a gold ring. And that was the painting. And I thought, oh no, I really got to tell that story. There's a story in there.
Yeah.
Why are toucans with this string and a gold ring? So that was that story.
Okay.
And the toucan thought that if she had a gold ring, that people, friends would like her more, that she would feel fancy. And she realized that the gold ring didn't make anybody like her more.
No.
What she realized is that dancing with her friends in the sunshine was so much more fun than trying to impress people.
Yeah. And that was the first book, Poppy and the Golden Ring. And
Yeah,
yeah. And you illustrated that first book
the
yourself.
first book. Yes.
And then the second, Poppy's Wiggly Wobbly Wings Through the Current, number 7, are all illustrated by another gentleman. And this is interesting. How did that transition happen?
So he's my painting teacher.
Ah,
And I realized that he was going to do a better, more professional job. I wanted the books to, look professional. I didn't want them to simply be my stuff. Um, and he's a professional illustrator and a professional painter. So and he's been very inspirational in all the
yeah.
books.
Now, Michael Sherman is his name. I wanted to get that in.
Yes.
How does the process work between the two of you? You just start out and send him a whole story, and he sends you back ideas, or do you work back and forth?
We work back and forth.
Hmm.
And then I've been to his studio where he tacks up some drawing ideas and we discuss it because they illuminate the illustrations illuminate the story.
Hmm.
That sometimes with an illustration you don't have to say the words, you see it.
Hmm.
And so it's a wonderful process and a lot of fun.
Hmm. And speaking of words, it's like poetry. You only have so many to work with in a children's story. I looked up 590 words in this story.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. Or less,
yeah.
and children don't have the patience for more.
Hmm.
And the publishing world says it has to be X amount of pages.
Hmm.
But I always have a last page that are the fun facts about a
Yeah.
real animal, which I think is interesting because you read a story, you don't know what's real or not. And the last page really tells you exactly the reality of that.
Yeah, and in this particular case, you got fun facts about monarch butterflies, which is,
Yes.
yes. Have you ever been to where they congregate? I've seen some video of all of them swarming in Mexico, and it's just amazing.
Well, we have, oh gosh, what's the name of it? Ash, Mountain Ash. Now the name is escaping me, but we have a lot of those shrubs that they need to reproduce on. And I didn't plant them, the birds did. There's lots of shrubs. Some years there are thousands of monarchs, some years there are none.
Uh,
This year was, I never really saw, I don't think I could say I saw one.
mm,
So It's interesting.
Yeah, and they're pollinators too. We live on our pollinators. We better keep them happy.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Now, Poppy is female, and I did looked around. I said some analysis say that only 31% of children's books have female protagonists in there. I'm sure that was a conscious decision on your part.
Oh, no, it wasn't. I had no idea. That's brand news to me.
Oh, okay. Well, good for you then for fighting that change. Uh, what was the other thing? I have so many. I mean, so much to talk. This is a book that I want to say, for the short amount of words in it, is rich in food for thought, and in very cool names for the people. Like Blue Sloppy Foot, for instance, had me right there at that one.
Well, it's, one of the most important things in these stories is the community. There is a very strong community that gives support to each of the animals that are involved. And there's some elephants, there's tigers, there's lots of different kinds of animals that support each other and become really close.
And I have to say, they're not only are they well described, they're very well drawn too. He does a wonderful
Right?
job.
He does a fabulous job. And it's so cute. It's so funny. I love that he had basketball t-shirts on the elephants
Yes,
and the cans.
yes,
And we said, it's not the cannot, it's the cans.
yes. And you become the two cans as well too in the end of the book.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now you're someone that does a lot of going out to schools and reading to students. What ages are you aiming at with these books?
3 to 8 years old, I think, is perfect.
And what kind of
I think it's fascinating when you read to the kids because they always laugh at toucan jokes, always. And they are always interested in the fun facts. And sometimes they have really wonderful questions to ask. And when they ask questions, their fellow students really pay attention. They're really interested in the answers to those questions.
Yeah, and one of the questions one of the fun facts you have is that butterflies taste with their feet, and I'm
Isn't
thinking
that funny?
it is, and I'm thinking I can't imagine the experiment that they designed to prove that, but somewhere along the line, some scientists did that sort of thing. When you have these books, obviously the kids read them, but the parents read them as well. Often the parents are the first readers for them when they're the younger end of the spectrum. And what advice would you give to parents who are reading these books in terms of interpreting them and encouraging their children to build their own confidence?
Oh, I think that's very strong. I think that when a parent reads to a child, they can, point out aspects of the illustration that perhaps the child didn't notice. And I think they can go slowly and really study not only the words that we said, but what the appearance of the animals and the jungles. And I think that's very important.
That is interesting. And it just occurred to me, do you know do they do audiobooks for children's books, or are they just?
We had it on a YouTube. I did a few TV shows, and one could get them on YouTube.
Okay, that is good to know. We also want to mention that you do have a website and a blog and all sorts of fun stuff. So how could the people get a hold of you and find out more?
It's MadelynSimon.com. And there's lots of information on the website, www.madelynsimon.com.
And Madelyn is Lyn, not Lin.
Correct. Madelyn.
Yeah, just want to make sure that people got to access you properly there. There it is. All right. So I have to ask, when is Pixar going to start production on the first film?
Oh, I didn't even talk to Pixar. But I think it's a great idea. I think that, Roger, you could be the agent.
Yeah. Sorry, sorry. You need somebody who's skilled in that department. I would try, but I would not get there like those would. It seems I'm failing the lesson of the book we just read by saying that.
That's funny.
Okay. Again, let's mention the next book in the series is coming out when? Do we know?
No, my illustrator moved to a different country for 1 year.
Oh,
So we're holding things up for a year.
okay.
And
So,
I don't quite know what the name is going to be for the next book. But
okay.
the Poppy's Sweet Sibling Story is the last of 7.
Right. And they're out there, they're available everywhere, and they're really fun.
And I'll
Oh,
show you something else that I love. This is Poppy says, "It's okay, you're okay." And it's
oh,
about accepting. It's about accepting animals for who they are and what they are.
ah,
And that I think is a wonderful message for children that you can be different and it's cool. It's okay to be different. And we consider differences like a gift to one another.
it certainly is. Anything I have not asked you want to make sure that our listeners have a chance to find out about you or about Poppy?
Oh, not that I can think of for the moment, but it's, it's about compassion, it's about empathy, it's about learning from each other and being together and supporting each other.
And you certainly are doing that and doing your part, and we do appreciate that.
Oh, thank you so much, Roger.
Yeah. It's been a really good time talking with you. Our guest today has been Madelyn Simon. The book is Poppy's Sweet Sibling Story. Hold it up again for them, and we'll go out on that. Yes, there you go. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much.